Hello everybody, welcome back to the course. In the last lesson we covered basics of flowchart and solved few problems. Today we will solve a few different types of problem, and with the help of those problem we will learn a new concept. So let us start today's class. So the problem statement is you have to read two number A and D, and you have to print D, and you have to print 5 terms of the form a plus d, a plus 2d, a plus 3d, a plus 4d, and a plus 5d. So let us first solve this problem in the most easiest and the simplest way. I will start my program and then I will read two number. Read A and D. And then I will print A plus D. Now I will print A plus 2D. Now I will print A plus 3D. Now I will print A plus 4D. And finally I will print my last term, which is A plus 5D. Now my work is over. I will end my program. So let us revise again what we have done. So the problem statement was you have to read two numbers A and D, and you have to print 5 terms of the form A plus D, A plus 2D, 3D, 4D and 5D. So what I did, we start our program, then we read two numbers A and D, and we have printed the 5 terms, and then we have end our program. So I hope by this time you might have noticed something strange with this approach, and if you didn't, then I have a question for you. So my question is very simple. What do you think what might be the problem with this approach? I am telling you there is a problem with this approach, and you have to tell me what is the problem. Take your time and try to think. Okay, let me give you a hint. In this case, I am printing just only 5 terms. So this approach is working fine. No problem at all. But what if we have to print 1 million terms? Will this approach work? Would you use this approach to print 1 million terms? Obviously no. So I hope you got the idea. Let's come back to the question that I asked you. What is the problem with this approach? Yes, you got it right. This approach is very time consuming and inefficient. But why this approach is time consuming and inefficient? The answer is very simple. We are doing the same work again and again. Basically repetition is there. You can see the repetition here. We are printing again and again and again. So this is just repetition of the work. If you look carefully, I can express any of the term as A plus ID. If the value of I is 1, if I equals 1, my term is A plus D. If I equals 2, my term is A plus 2D. And similarly, if the value of I equals 5, my term is A plus 5D. So basically we have to print A plus ID, and the value of I will vary from 1 to 5. So there are two ways to change the values of I. So I told you there are two ways to change the values of I. So the first way is that we ourselves manually change the value of I. But the problem with this approach is, what would you do if you want to print 1 million terms? So this approach will fail. The second way is that we will write some logic in such a way that the value of I will change automatically. So our logic will look something like this. Initially my I will be 1. Then I will check, is I less than or equals to 5? Yes, 1 is less than or equals to 5. The condition is true. If the condition is true, what will I do? I will print A plus ID. So in this case, A plus D will be printed. And after printing A plus ID, what will I do? I will increase the value of I by 1. So the new value of I becomes 2. Then I will check the condition again. Is 2 less than or equals to 5? Yes. Print A plus ID. Okay, so A plus 2D gets printed. Then I will increase the value of I by 1. So the new value of I is 3. Then I will check my condition again. Is 3 less than or equals to 5? Yes. Print the term. Now the new value of I is 4. Is 4 less than or equals to 5? Yes. Print the term. Increase the value of I by 1. So the new value of I is 5. Check the condition. 5 is less than or equals to 5? Yes. Print the term. A plus 5D. Increment the value of I by 1. So the new value of I is 6. Is 6 less than or equals to 5? No. So the condition is false. So what will I do? I will come out of the loop. Or you can say exit from the loop. Or you can say break the loop. So to implement the logic, the thing we need is called a loop. Or you can say a cycle. So basically there are 3 parts of a loop. So the first part is initialize. The second part is condition. And the third part is update. So in the above case, I equals 1. This is known as initialization. This is the first part of a loop. Second part is to check the condition. So this is condition. And the third part is update. So this is update. We are updating the value of I by 1. So let us see how does a loop work. How does a loop work? So the first part is initialize. So I will initialize something. The second part is to check the condition. Here I will be having condition. If the condition is true, then I will do some work. And after doing the work, I will update. After updating, I will check my condition again. If the condition is again true, I will again do some work and then update. Then I will check the condition again. If the condition is again true, then I will do some work again. Then I will update and then I will check the condition. If the condition is false, then I will exit, or you can say I will break my loop. Okay, great. Let us draw the flowchart for this problem using loops. So I will start my program. Then I will read 2 numbers, A and D. Now the first part of loop is to initialize. So I am taking a variable. Let the name of the variable is I. So the variable I is initialized to 1. Now the next part of the loop is to check the condition. So I am checking, is I less than or equals to 5? So yes, 1 is less than or equals to 5. What will I do? The condition is true. Let's say I am taking another variable, term. Term equals A plus I into D. So the value of I is 1 and term equals A plus D. Now what will I do? I will print term. So A plus D will be printed. After printing the term, after doing the work, we will update. So I equals I plus 1. And then I will check my condition again. So I equals I plus 1 means increment the value of I by 1. Or you can say I equals I plus 1 means calculate this part and copy this part into this part. So first we will evaluate RHS and the value of RHS will go into LHS. So simply the value of I will increase by 1. So this is the old value of I and this will be new value. So the new value of I is 2. Is 2 less than or equals to 5? Yes. True. Term equals A plus 2D. Print term. A plus 2D. Increment the value of I by 1. So the new value of I 3. So is 3 less than or equals to 5? Yes. True. Term equals A plus 3D. So A plus 3D gets printed. Similarly A plus 4D will get printed. And similarly A plus 5D will get printed. So the new value of I will become 6. Is 6 less than or equals to 5? So the condition is no. False. You can say false. So if the condition is false and I have printed all the terms, my work is over now and I will end my program. And here you can see the loop, or you can say cycle. So this approach is way better than our previous approach. Why? Because if you want to print 1 million terms, I only need to change just one thing. that is the condition. So what will I do? I will write here 1 million and 1 million terms will be printed. So this approach is very efficient. Okay, great. So today we learned a new concept called loop with the help of one problem. Do not worry if you are facing difficulty in understanding loops. This is completely normal. Initially everyone faces difficulty in understanding loops. And in fact, you should consider it in a positive way. It is a positive sign that you are learning new things which are challenging and difficult to understand. As far as I remember, when I was learning about loops, it took me nearly 2 days in understanding how a loop works and why we need loop. So if you have understood just 30% of this lesson, you are way ahead of me. In the next class, we will be solving many questions based on loops because loops are very important and we will be using loops throughout this course. And I want to make sure that working of loops is crystal clear in your mind. So if you have any doubt, then first watch the next video and I am pretty sure that all of your doubts will be resolved. And if you still have doubts, feel free to reach me. I will be more than happy to answer. So I hope you enjoyed today's tutorial. I will see you in the next tutorial. Till then, enjoy C++ and thanks for watching.